What if I put you down?
You can't.
I can't.
Boy, you ain't got nothing in them gloves.
Remember this day. Remember this day.
How you kidding?
You know, Devin Haney showed that he can punch. Devin Haney showed that more than likely he was in the wrong weight class. Devin Haney showed what Devin Haney could do when he wanted to. You know, it was a good thing to hear someone say they can do something and then do it. However, I think Devin Haney's a good boxer, but I think maybe he may be too good for his own good, as far as he may be too cautious to be marketable. Good boxing ability. You know, he can box. And I told people that Brian Norman he would give Brian Norman problems. I didn't know he was going to beat Brian Norman like that. The only problem was, with Devin Haney doing what he did, showed what he can do, showed that power, put him down. The problem is the follow through. There was none. It was almost like, see, I told you that I had power. Okay. Well, keep going. You know, what was wrong with taking the initiative, getting the guy out of there? It was no killer instinct. You know what I mean? Like, let me give you an example. If that would have been Conor Ben would have went for the kill, because he clearly had Brian Norman dead to rights. He was done. He was on his way out. And because Devin Haney had no killer instinct, that fight lasted 12 rounds. That fight should have been stopped in maybe 3 or 4 rounds. The 4th round, because I think that happened in the 3rd round when he put him down. The 4th round, he should have got him out of there, because I think the bell saved him, from, getting hurt. But I think, he should have pressed the gas, hit the gears, got him out of there. Point blank. And he didn't do it. And that just shows you that Devin Haney doesn't have that killer instinct. And because he doesn't have that killer instinct, he's not the guy that people are going to look to see. These 12-round fights, especially from someone that has and shown the ability to put someone down and take it. And he knows if you can put him down, you can take him out. And nowadays, depending on where he's at, a lot of these referees, they don't like to see punishment anyway. You know what I mean? I think a lot of these refs are soft, and because they're soft, you don't even have to knock a guy's spark out. You can just give him enough punches unanswered, because he's already hurt, for the ref to come in and save the day and close down the fight. You know what I mean? And so he could get a TKO very well get a TKO, other than just boxing. I've hurt you, shown you I got the power, and then I do a Edis Landy Lada song and dance. Now, the crazy thing about Lada, though, I like to see Lada operate because of his crisp punching and his boxing ability. Devin Haney, you'll have a lot of grabs, you'll have a lot of clinches, and it was the shittiest fight on the card. To be real with you, it was the shittiest fight on the card. You know what I mean? And Devin showed something that people didn't think he had, which is great. Punching power. He showed you. I'll show you guys. I got punching power. But then you showed us you had punching power, but then yet you also showed us that you didn't like or didn't want to use it. So what good is it if you can put a guy down just to show him without finishing the job? If I had to give Devin Haney anything, I would give him an incomplete, because he didn't finish the job. He should have finished Brian Norman off. Brian Norman was an undefeated fighter, but then yet he already kicked himself in the ass because he said that he was a bum. He could have got a lot more credit for beating or boxing this guy. And then since he's a bum, that means you should have got that bum out of there. You know what I mean? He should have treated him as such. Boom. Told you I can knock you down. Now I'm about to knock you out. That's how you get people on your team. That's how you have people respecting you and want to see you in the future. Not going 12 rounds with a bum. Okay? So, knockdown was brilliant, but he could have easily followed up with that shit. With the left hook he landed, the boy got power at 147. He was a dead man walking, making that weight back in the day. Okay? Back in those other weight classes, those smaller weight classes. Now he just showed you, hey, I got punching power now. Okay, Vinny Paz, because that's what Vinny Paz did, right? He was fighting at these lower weight classes, and he was actually cheating himself. You know what I mean? But what was significance about him, using him as an example, Vinny Paz? He would go in for the kill. He would take you out if he knew, I hurt you, I'm going to take you out. Not that song and dance, ring around the rosy, walk around the park shit that Devin Haney did for the next fucking 8 rounds. But he showed him that he could go down. Bars. But you guys tell me what you think about Devin Haney showing Brian Norman that I have the punching power in these fists. These are more than just pillows. There's a lot harder things within those gloves. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.